Hey everyone, Julian here today. I'm going to be showing you how to make organic house like Keinemusik. As usual, you get the full project files, samples, MIDI, presets. This entire track template is available at the top of the description on my website for just $5. You get an extremely high quality template. It'll take your tracks to the next level. Definitely go ahead and grab that. Help yourself out. Link is at the top of the description. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 120 BPM, and the first thing we have up here will be the low end groove. Now, you can hear there's a lot of bounce happening here between three elements. So, we have an 808 kick, which, as you can hear, is just a nice, punchy, fat 808 kick. You know, it's actually a bit of a smaller sample, but if you just put it in the right place in the mix, like you can hear, this is really sitting on top of the mix. It can still punch through. And then we're just cutting a bit of sub out of that and converting it to mono. Then we have the main bass. So this is really simple bass groove. Right? We're in the key of A minor here, so this would literally just be the root note. And then going down to G, which would be the minor 7th. You can see that just sits nicely. Underneath all the melodic stuff in the track, and then all that is just a sine wave with a bit of a sub cut, and then you can hear it's really just the groove. You don't want it to be too much else. And then we have this 606 core kit. So we're just using this for a bunch of toms. But you can hear, it's like the kick and the bass obviously have a lot of groove. When you put those together, and then you just add this, and then now this is kind of bouncing off of the kick, but also bouncing off of what's happening in the bass line, right? Because there's a lot of syncopation between those two. And it's that last kind of like element to just make the whole thing groove. And everything else in the track is sitting on top of this. This is what's really making this all work. If I turn this stuff off, it's nice melodically, but it doesn't have the groove. And then we're just high passing those so they don't get in the way of the bass. Very important, because if I turn that off, you start getting these weird chords between that and the bass, which you really wouldn't want. And that's the low end. Then we have the piano. So this is kind of like the style of pianos you hear in a lot of these tracks. It's almost like kind of organic house, but it's almost got an element of disco to it too, right? Like the way it kind of walks down like that. So what's happening here is these are actually pretty basic major and minor chords, like the main hits, like all these ones that you're seeing that are held out for long. Right? What we're doing is, so like this is just an A minor. Right? Literally just A, C, and E. Root note, minor 3rd, and 5th, most basic minor chord shape. And then all I did is I just added a root, or a 5th, an octave below. So technically the lowest note of this chord isn't the root note. And we're doing that here as well. Here as well. And then all these chords in between, honestly, it's just notes in the key of A minor, kind of like creating almost like melody chords. Like I'm pretty sure that's just G, D, and A. right? Like that would be like the fourth, the minor seventh, and the root note. But it's just like creating these little melodies in between. Now, for the actual sound, it's 3 piano samples layered together to kind of get like a more organic feel. So, what's happening is we got this one. This like beautiful high one. This one. So that's those two together, and then this one. And yeah, you can hear that's kind of like the main piano. And the last thing I think we can do on that would be just convert it to... And then have those other two be stereo, and then those are just going through a little bit of reverb. So then we have this lead. So this is just kind of playing this like nice, you know, ominous melody. If you play it with the piano. You can see it fits really well. What this is doing is, like I said, we're in the key of A minor, but we're actually starting on the 5th. Right? So that 5th feels really nice against the piano. And then what this is, so it's root note, 9th, and minor 3rd. So it's like a very much like walking up because you're getting to that resolution in the minor 3rd there. Now for the actual sound, it's made with analog. It's a sine wave, just one sine wave with a bunch of vibrato and unison, a bit of chorus afterwards, some echo with a reverb on it, and that's on ping pong. And then we have a high pass so it doesn't get in the way, because this actually, like especially with the bass, because they both have that like frequency in there. So we're cutting that. Then we have the pad. So you can hear this is kind of just playing this chord progression almost like against what the piano is playing. But it's almost meant to be like a counter melody, right? Like it's a chord progression, and the secret here is it's all just basic A minor scale notes. Like I'll go through here and show you. So it's gonna fit with the piano, but then when you play them together, you get this beautiful kind of interaction there. Fits really well with the bass, fits really well with the lead. So, like I said, it's all just basic notes from the A minor scale. You know, we got, like, if you look at this, E, the 5th, F, which would be the 6th, A, root note, C, minor 3rd, D, 4th, another 5th, root note, a 9th, which is just a fancy way of saying one note down from the minor 3rd. So what I'm trying to show you here is it's actually pretty simple to write. It might sound complex to hear that against the piano, but if you follow that same key, they'll fit really well. This is made with analog, which is just a really good synth for this style, honestly, because you can get that kind of nice Moog-esque texture you want. We've got 2 saw waves, low pass filter with an envelope, and key tracking, so kind of making it and that really gives you that nice kind of like vintage sound. We got a bit of vibrato, some chorus, a reverb, which is pretty wet to kind of make it more textured, so it's not so like sharp. And then we have a high pass filter. Then we have the hi-hats. Now, there's a bit of detail work to really get the hi-hats like what you hear in these tracks. I think there's, a lot of magic here, and what's happening is it starts with this. Just a basic shaker. Now, this is probably what you've tried to do if you were trying to recreate these hi-hats and then wondered why it doesn't sound quite as lively. You have to start with the shaker, right? And then we add this operator, which you can see is sitting on top of the shaker, but it has like a morphing texture. So what that is it's white noise with this envelope, kind of like a shaker, and then it's a high-pass filter, and then we have an LFO on the filter cutoff, just slowly moving it around on sample and hold, so it's like random. And there you go. So that's the first step to kind of get the hi-hats more like what you hear in these tracks. Because again, if you just do the shaker on its own, it's not it. So we've got that. Then there's this closed hi-hat, which kind of adds like some high end and some punch. And you can see if we take that out, it's too thin. It needs that like punchiness. So that's that. That's the stack. Because I was studying these tracks, and I think a lot of times people wonder how to do it. They think it's a shaker loop, or it's like one shaker in a sampler like this. But no, you have to have the 3 layers, and it's like probably more or less even sometimes, but just like really trying to get that full. This and the kick, like those really have to sound full like that. And then the last part will be that one hi-hat on the upbeats, and then on the group, it's just a little bit of hybrid reverb. Then we have the percussion. So it's just this rim shot and this 808 snare. We're doing a bit of, so the snare starts like this. Then I distorted it, and then high pass it. And you get this nice textured percussion that you hear in a lot of their tracks. And then also like one of these kind of more organic rim shots, and those are playing together through a bit of delay and a high pass filter, and yeah. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project files, samples, MIDI, presets, everything from this video is available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely go grab that. It's a really great way to support me, but also you get one of the best templates on the market for this style right now. I've really studied these tracks, and with this, you'll be able to make the best tracks of your life. Enjoy, guys. Grab it while it's available, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.